Mia has come to town, Billy takes Sharon to the Jaboutique launch, and Tessa admits to Mariah what she knows about the JT murder. Stay tuned for this week's Restless Wrap.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everybody, I'm Rachel Goodman here with another week of Restless Wrap. It keeps getting crazier and crazier, but these are some of the better storylines I've seen since I've been watching, so I'm very excited to discuss everything that's been going on this week. And the last couple of weeks, it's all kind of tying into this. So I just want to give a shout out to everyone in the chat. We have Hubby Joe, Clux Anvers, aka Tiffany, Matthew Kennedy, Taylor Jones, Susan Russo, Doolaman, let's see, and Rainy J, Zoe Johnson. And also, I wanted to give a shout out to a couple of new people in the chat. We have Taylor, Emily, and Audrey, who are all also participating in NaNoWriMo with me, which is National Novel Writing Month if you haven't heard of it. If you haven't, you should look it up because we should probably move on and discuss this week's Restless Wrap. First, let's start with everything going on with JT because there is so much happening with that right now. Not just with JT, well, not just with the murder itself and the suspects, but everything happening with Ray, which is sort of tying around it. So we start off, we see Victoria. We know her story is basically that she gave JT $700 and he left, and that was that, and that she hasn't heard from him since, and that he did show up at her house, but she's a little bit, her story is kind of a little bit, there's a tell, as Ray puts it, and that tell is that the way that Victoria was talking, it's like she assumed there was no body, that the cops had not found a body. So Ray, we don't know who he's talking to right now. Hubby Joe, who was watching with me, had a prediction that maybe Ray has been talking to JT the whole time, which would change it, and it wouldn't be a murder investigation if Ray is talking to JT, but you never know what they're doing with this. You don't know who he's talking to right now. I guess we'll find out. It could just be someone else working on the case, whoever sent him, we don't know. But it kind of seems like at this point, Ray definitely suspects Victoria. We know he thought that, we didn't know what he thought Sharon's involvement was, just that he knew she was somehow involved. But I'm starting to think that maybe he thought she was involved just for the fact that she was so connected to the Newmans, especially with Nick, who also, Nick seems to be high up on Ray's suspect list too, as well as Victor. Nick and Nikki and Victor, or not Victor, he's not here. Nick and Victoria and Nikki were kind of all talking about this, especially with everything happening, with Victor not being in the country. Ray wants him to come back, obviously, so they can interrogate him. But it's sounding like right now, Ray just thinks that maybe Victoria might be involved, but that she could just be covering something up, too. So that's kind of that's kind of where they're leaving it off with that. Meanwhile, and this kind of segues right into it, so I think we should kind of talk about this now, everything happening with Tessa and Mariah, because Mariah, she caught last week, this week, she went out and she bought a new mattress. Throughout the old mattress, Tessa freaked out, wouldn't explain why, and then Mariah catches Tessa getting money from the mattress, and now, when we know that that's the blackmail money, obviously, at this point, after this week, but it kind of all started off with them, Tessa and Mariah, just fighting. Last week, I remember we had all kind of predicted that Tessa had a lot to do with what was happening and that was the blackmail money. How else would she have gotten that money? So we were all right for those of us who predicted this. So yay us, but not so yay for Tessa and Mariah's relationship. So basically, they got into a huge fight. Mariah kept going back and forth. But what ended up happening, though, is that Tessa... They went back and forth because Tessa wasn't telling Mariah the full truth. She wasn't telling her any truth, just that it had to do with her childhood and that she was a liar and that lying was something that came natural to Tessa. And Mariah basically says, well, I used to be like that too. I was very defensive. I had a hard life, but I changed for you. And I'm a different person now. I'm not a liar. And it's just kind of like, it seemed like it was the end for Tessa and Mariah. It still could be the end because basically Tessa reveals that she's the blackmailer, that this okay, so I'm an IT person. That was my full-time job before this. The way that Tessa explained this whole email situation, that she found files that were named oddly, and then she found an email. It didn't. Okay, so I'm gonna say that as an IT person, it didn't make sense to me. Tessa's explanation. The spy cam stuff, I guess, made sense, that apparently JT was putting trackers on the car and putting trackers all over Victoria's house. Okay, fine, I get that. But how the fact that it was all with Victor and that he had it on a hard drive. I mean, they did mention the hard drive, and we did see the video camera, but we had assumed that Victor put the camera there when we saw what JT did to Victoria. So maybe that's just Tessa thinking. I mean, maybe it was actually Victor that put all the bugs on the car and in the house because somehow he was worried about JT. Otherwise, why would Victor have that footage, and why would he have that storage cloud? That really didn't make sense to me, and that it would have been that easy for someone to get into it didn't make sense. It probably would have been encrypted. It probably wouldn't have been on, a hard drive that was with Victor, that somehow ended with Nick, unless it was Victor's hard drive. But then how did Nick get it? And that's the question. I kind of feel like that was a huge plot hole that made no sense. So at that I don't follow that exactly, because it just, the way that they explained it was kind of odd. However, that's the explanation, and let's go with it, because basically Tessa admits that she found this. She wasn't really meaning to snoop at first. Then she discovered, okay, well, they obviously did this, and she started blackmailing them. And Mariah's big problem was, number one, they saw the rug, and they saw the four women bringing, in the footage, bringing the rug with presumably JT's body into, well, we know it's JT's body. They're, presuming that it's JT's body in this rug in the car. And then, Tessa pieced things together and found out that it was Chancellor Park where she assumed they had buried him, which still doesn't explain, at least so far. Tessa didn't say that she went back and got the body and dug it up. So either someone else knows, or JT's alive, or I think someone suggested that JT and Tessa are potentially working together. I don't know about that. But in any case, the whole thing is that all we know is that Tessa was obviously blackmailing them, and Mariah, regardless of whether they did it or not, Mariah's reaction was, well, one of the people you're blackmailing is like the only other person that I love more than you, and you're blackmailing her and putting her in this situation where, it's horrible. And Mariah, even if obviously she's going to find out it's true if Sharon tells her, but I think for Mariah, whether it's true or not, it still is going to be this thing where, okay, well, Tessa, how could you do this? How could you find this? And then, first of all, not tell Mariah immediately, hey, this is what's going on with your mom. And then two, decide, hey, let's blackmail her. Let's blackmail all of them. Let's get the money. And then also, the thing that kind of slipped through that kind of was mentioned briefly is that Tessa, apparently, that was her whole goal all along, was to come into Genoa City to kind of be friendly with the Newmans, or I guess any well-to-do family, but she, found her way with the Newmans. And she actually admits to Mariah that she never loved Noah, that it was easy to pretend to love him because he was kind, and that apparently Mariah ruined her plans. And that, to me, it's like, no. I mean, I want to believe that Tessa actually loves Mariah, but when someone says, oh, I can pretend to love someone, and she never told Mariah this either. I feel like this is the first time that Tessa's actually admitted, oh, I never actually loved Noah, or let alone maybe even liked him, that it was all about marrying him and then getting half of the money. That was her goal all along, and that apparently Mariah ruined her plan. So we're finding all these things out. I mean, we knew Tessa was shady. That's not the part that's weird here. It's just Mariah, I think, needs to just say goodbye to her, because Tessa keeps lying to her over and over again. It can just never be good between them, because Tessa's going to keep lying. Even if she changes, it's not like, how can you undo all of this that she's done? So, all right. Obviously, you guys all love The Young and the Restless. Just so you know, too, we have other TV shows that we produce as well. From drama, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, there's no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about those pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional and you can turn them off. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now and let us know, and then we'll give you a shout out on the air that you subscribed. So go ahead and do that. And for now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk. Speaking of talking, if you want to call in live, let me go ahead and let you guys know we are taking live calls right now. The number to dial is 424-354-8302. Again, if you're listening live right now, it's November 18th at 5:40 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The number to call in is 424-354-8302. Let's go ahead and move on to our next topic, but let me check in with the chat here. We've got a couple of comments. Matthew Kennedy, I love it when Mariah ripped into Tessa about how those ladies didn't do anything to her. Special Nikki was so nice to her when she came to town. Yeah, exactly. Doolaman, Tessa really is a POS. Hubby Joe, hashtag, keep Tessa away from my computer. So, oh, wait, we've got more. Incoming call. And we have an incoming call. Who's on the line?
Hi, Rachel. It's Tiffany.
Hey, Tiffany. So I think I know what you want to talk about already with Tessa and Mariah.
Yeah, I kind of gave you that little bit of a warning.
Yeah. Okay, so what did you think of this week?
Okay, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I haven't really been watching Y&R very much lately. Actually, I haven't been watching it all because I get annoyed really easily. But I have been keeping up to date with Tessa and Mariah, and I hate that this moment has come. But I'm like, you know what? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think I've taken enough. I don't think I can root for them anymore. I'm kind of tired. Like I am physically and emotionally tired of rooting for them. But I get that it's a soap opera. I get that the drama has to happen. I get it, but they never even really stood a chance, let's be honest, because they were never given the chance.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that we should have seen the romance play out more. They only had like maybe a week or two together where they really were okay. And then all of a sudden, oh, nope, here we go. Yeah, they should have, I mean, I know it's a soap, but they should have given them a little more time.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? Okay,
Yeah, and the whole thing with Tessa is... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
What is it? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, with Tessa, we keep seeing these bad sides to her, too. So now it's getting to a point where, Mariah, come on, we've had enough of you deciding to be with this person.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know what? Someone pointed out earlier today, they're like, you know what? I mean, Tessa's been there for about 2 years now, almost. And it's like, ooh.
And the whole
We've
thing
waited
with Noah.
so long to find out what Tessa's story is. And just to have that story be, oh, well, I came to Genoa City, started to use your brother, and then you ruined everything because you're you. And it's like, really?
And then how do you
That's your defense? That's how you think you're going to keep her liking you? I don't... no.
Yeah, and it's like, how do you even believe Tessa anymore? What if now we find out, not that Mariah's really linked to the Newmans the same way that Noah is, at all, but what if we find out that that's really all Tessa wanted from Mariah, is that, this sense of comfort and security, and she's using her for her finances too?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't know anymore. With Tessa, it's just like, I love Mariah.
Yeah.
I've said it multiple occasions. Mariah is my favorite character. I genuinely adore her. And I love Cameron. Side note, Cameron's acting this week was just amazing.
Yeah, it was so good.
But it's like, I don't want Mariah to hurt, and Tessa's just the sole root of most of her pain anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, even from the beginning, it's always been Tessa causing that pain for her. And I've always excused it because it's like, okay, well, you know what? It's Y&R. It's a soap opera. They're taking a chance in the first place having this couple because, you know, it's the Young and the Restless, and they've never had a, you know, LGBT character couple. But they've handled it so poorly.
Yeah.
It's like, I just wish you wouldn't have done it at all.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like they should have done it when Tessa was in a better place for them to have done this. And then we could see their romance actually play out. And if it was going to be this drama, it should have been like drama like we see with some of the other couples, where it's not like unforgivable drama. You know what I mean? It's like things happening, but we can forgive it. This is kind of hard to forgive, that Tessa keeps lying to her like this. But thank you.
Exactly, yeah. And I think you've mentioned it too. You said how, you know, I mean, Mariah said multiple times, like, how much Sharon means to her.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, before she came to Genoa City, she didn't have a family. She didn't know she had a family. She didn't know any of this. And then she is so close to her family, to Sharon and to Noah. And it's like, you used my brother. You're blackmailing my mother. I don't know how she's ever going to forgive her. And it's just like, well, and I guess it's like her first relationship with a woman. And it's like, well, first relationships, they're not going to work out. That's just how it goes. But you could have at least given them a couple of weeks to,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
be happy and not have this happen, because it's just like, nope, I'm done. I don't ship it anymore. I can't. I physically can't.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. But thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thank you for letting me rant. I'll probably rant to you some more on Facebook later.
That sounds good. Well, have a great week. Okay, so with the time we have left, let's go ahead and jump into everything that happened at the Jaboutique party, because we had a lot of pieces kind of like coming together here. So first of all, we met Mia, which is Ray's current wife. They're not divorced. We also kind of started to find out what the problem had to do with, and all we kind of heard was Arturo. So, and I'm sorry, I'm not good at rolling the R's, so Arturo. But all we found out is that everything going on between Ray and Mia, all their problems, has to do with him, with Arturo, and something that happened in Miami. So my first thought was, okay, well, obviously there was cheating. Obviously, you know, for whatever reason, Mia slept with Arturo, and that's the problem they're having, and now Mia is back to be with Ray. Mia's character in general, okay, so I'm going to say this. I think for the drama element, it's great that we have her. And I like that they've introduced this character who is bringing a lot of like different flavor to Y&R and a different set of dynamics. I like that. As you know, me liking the character, I don't like her at all, obviously, because she's just doing so many crappy things. Telling, you know, first of all, poor Sharon. Sharon and Ray had shared a kiss, and I don't know if anything was going to happen between them. Obviously, there's this chemistry there between Sharon and Ray, especially now. I think that what's happening to Ray, what Sharon knows, is just making Sharon kind of care about Ray even more, because she understands it, obviously. She's been through that, with Nick cheating on her with Phyllis, so she knows, she gets it. So, in any case, Mia comes to town, and she is basically like marking her territory with Ray. She goes down to Sharon, to get coffee, and she's like, oh, no, by the way, back off. Ray is mine. And Sharon tries to say, no, I'm not into him. But it's, Mia's like, no, it's obvious you are, but P.S., he's my husband. And so she goes back up, and she keeps trying to make things work with Ray. Ray keeps pushing her away, but it's obvious Ray loves Mia, and that Mia means so much to him. So it's really sad to watch this. Ray even said at one point that when we start to find out the actual story. So what happens is we have the Jaboutique party. Billy goes with Sharon, which I liked. I was a little disappointed because I was starting to really want Billy and Sharon to be a couple. I'm not feeling the chemistry so much, the romantic chemistry, not the way that I feel it with Sharon and Ray, but I am feeling that, potentially maybe down the line when Billy and Sharon are in a better place, they could be a couple. But yeah, not like right now, I feel like Sharon's not ready to be with anyone. But that being said, they go together. And then just as a quick side note, at the end of the night after the party, Billy does lean in to kiss Sharon, and she pushes him away because she's like, yeah, I'm not ready, and I don't think you are either, and it shouldn't be about just having, revenge sex or revenge kissing or whatever. So it stops right there. Now, that being said, maybe Billy and Sharon will stay as friends, and things might develop later. Also at the party, we had Mia come down with Ray. And that's where, Arturo comes in. Arturo keeps trying to tell Mia to go back to Miami. He doesn't want her there. Arturo and Mia and Ray kind of all get into a big argument, and then Mia ends up admitting, okay, well, Ray, you were busy all the time. You made me the number 2 person in your life compared to work, and that's why she ended up sleeping with Arturo. And so it comes out really loudly at the party. A lot of people here, including Sharon. And then after that, that's when Ray and Mia go back up into his apartment, not theirs. I mean, not really anyway. And then we kind of, as we're finding out from Lola and Abby, because Abby heard about what happened, and Abby found out at the party too about this affair, and she's not having it, so she goes back home. Lola goes to be with her to kind of talk her back into being with Arturo. Lola starts kind of saying what happened, and that it turned out that Arturo was dating Mia first, and then we find out from Ray and Mia. I kind of like how they did this. We find out from Ray and Mia that it was basically Arturo and Mia were dating. Ray saw Mia, and he immediately had these deep feelings for her, and he felt so much guilt for it because Mia wasn't his girlfriend, it was his brother's girlfriend. Ray couldn't explain it. He just felt drawn to her instantly, and he basically fell in love with her. It sounds like at first sight, and he felt this deep connection to her. So what happened was Arturo broke up with Mia, and then Mia went to Ray. So what we don't know, we know that Ray obviously had these deep feelings for Mia. We don't know how Mia feels really toward Ray. I mean, she's saying she wants to be with her husband, but there's also, I can tell that like the way that the actress is playing this, I can tell that there's feelings for Arturo too. So it's kind of hard to say what Mia really wants. Just that Ray is obviously in this really hard position because he clearly loves his wife. He wants to be with her, but at the same time, she cheated on him with his brother, and who she may or may not still love because of their past together. So that makes it really complicated. I love like all these like layers to these characters that are coming in. Let's just check in with the chat a little bit here. Doolaman, that Rosalia's family was so boring. She was like a bad car accident. It's awful, but you can't help watching. So I completely respect your opinion, and I can understand why you would say that. For me, I thought it was pretty interesting, and I liked what they were doing with it. Matthew Kennedy, they all need to go back to Miami. Amy Caroluzzo, Abby isn't having it with all the men she cheated with. That's rich. Yeah, okay, let me comment on that. I agree with you. Abby, okay. First of all, it's not like Arturo had this affair while he was with Abby, so I didn't understand why she was that upset. I could maybe understand Abby having feeling slightly irritated because Arturo didn't tell her and Mia was there. Yeah, okay, I could understand the irritation of your ex-girlfriend, like finding out that this woman that you're talking to is actually the ex-girlfriend of your boyfriend. Yeah, I totally can get behind that. But to just leave Arturo and be like, oh, it's over, and go back home and cry and like be that upset over it, that I didn't understand. Without at least talking to Arturo first and like asking, hey, why didn't you tell me? Then maybe, depending upon what he said, maybe getting to that level. But just to get mad at him because he, had the affair before her and dated Mia way before her, I didn't understand the anger on that level, especially from Abby. So, Doolaman, right? She slept with Summers' man. Okay, so Abby's obviously been in her own situations. And then we just have a couple of things here. Rainy J says, Nate and Carrie will hook up. And then Matthew says, I hope so. Rainy J, Matthew, I'm not feeling her yet. Oh, see, I am. I like her as a character, and I think it's really cool that they have that. Let me just say this too about Jaboutique, since we're getting there, and then we'll do our law moment. I really love that they're going in this direction. That Jabot in general is now is being run by a group of women. I really love that. I love that Jaboutique is now having this rebrand with women behind it. I do think, though, it was kind of crappy that Phyllis would take it and pretend that it was her idea from the gate, but I'm glad that she ended up doing the right thing by telling the reporter that Billy was the one who came up with the idea. And so it's like Phyllis, she does things that are crazy sometimes and like wild and out there, but then she always, like if someone explains something to her and says, hey, maybe you should consider the other side or consider doing this, I've noticed that with Phyllis, she will consider it and sometimes actually go through and do the right thing, even if she doesn't like the person. I mean, there's still obviously anger, like, understandable anger toward Billy. And, when we get back, in a couple weeks when we have the next show, we will talk more about that. But for lack of time here, let's go ahead and get to our law moment really fast. So, okay, I had two. After Mia visits Sharon and says that Ray is hers, the next scene upstairs with Mia, she's about to blend the fruit, and she's like, bringing Sharon up in conversation, and she's like, what's her name, Cheryl? And then like Ray's like, Sharon, and then Mia's like, yeah, Sharon, and she hits the blender like real fast. It was like, okay, that was hilarious, and I actually love how they did that too. So the other law moment I had was when Jack was getting ready to go to Jaboutique. At this point, they don't know who Billy's date is, so it was kind of two things that were funny to me. Jack's quote, he was talking to Tracy, all dressed up and nowhere to go, except to a company party run by no one in our family. And so I thought that was hilarious. I mean, he didn't say it like me. He said it very monotone. And then Jack just commenting, oh, Billy's bringing a date? Really? He's bringing a date? And he was just like, he thought it was hilarious. And I thought that was hilarious. So we have a couple other comments in the chat before we wrap today. Doolaman says, what if Summer and Mariah hook up? That's possible. I'd prefer to see Mariah and Lola hook up, but I kind of think that Lola and Kyle have a good thing, so I don't want to see them break up either. But if anyone, I would really see Mariah and Lola, because they seem like they're both very level-headed and good people, and they wouldn't lie to each other. Hubby Joe, I think this is back to the Abby comment I made. It was weird of Abby to react that way. Hubby Joe, Summer is nuts to think she has a chance with Kyle. Yeah, Summer is nuts, and she's another one. I wouldn't believe anything she says. She wants Kyle now, but that's obviously just because she can't have him. Let's see, just to wrap up this week, too. Rainy J, time for more drama in 5 minutes. The Clinton affair on A&E, okay? So, on that note... My name is Rachel Goodman. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Rach Goodman. We also have our Restless Rap page at Restless Rap. If you go over to Facebook, like and follow. We're not going to have a show next week because the studio is closed for the holiday, so I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving in advance. We will have a show in 2 weeks, and we'll be back to discuss all the episodes that happened in between. So join me in 2 weeks for the next Restless Rap. Have a great 2 weeks, everybody.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.